Welcome to Success Your Own Way, a podcast about how real people define and redefine success throughout their careers. Hosted by Tina Schuricht and Yifat Rogers, this show features candid conversations with guests who've made intentional choices, navigated change, and built lives aligned to their values. Their guests share their stories as well as strategies and tactics that help them along the way. Tina's a certified coach and a former corporate leader who supports professionals in making confident, values-driven decisions. Yifat is a consultant with a background in food science and engineering, helping people solve complex problems with a practical, no-nonsense approach. Each episode offers inspiration and actionable insights for anyone rethinking what success looks like in their life and how to get there.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Success Your Own Way. Today we have Angie with us. We're excited to get into her story, her definition of success, just sharing her path. I hope you'll find her story as inspiring as I did. And welcome Angie, welcome Tina.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
Before we dive into our questions, I'll share with our audience a little bit about Angie and who she is. She's the Vice President of Information Technology at Taylor Corporation, where she leads transformation initiatives that drive digital innovation and operational excellence. She's passionate about leveraging technology to solve complex problems and create business value, and she's recognized as a visionary and collaborative leader committed to continuous improvement and fostering a culture of innovation and excellence. Before transitioning to the printing industry, Angie amassed over a decade of experience in healthcare IT. That's no small feat, where she led and held diverse roles that shaped her well-rounded perspective at technology. At United Health Group, she led critical initiatives and projects that optimized IT operations, enhanced customer engagement, and implemented cutting-edge solutions. Her leadership consistently delivered exceptional results in operating efficiency, positioning her as a strong and influential leader in tech. Angie's unique ability to bridge strategic vision with practical execution has made her a sought-after speaker and mentor. And outside of her professional work, she enjoys biking, spending time with her family and her golden doodle puppy, reading, and playing the violin in our local community orchestras. So, wow, Angie, it's amazing to have you joining us today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I've given a little bit of background on who you are, but in your own words, tell us your story. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I never wanted to go into IT, I'll tell you that much. So both my parents were in IT. My mom was an IT project manager at Grainger. My dad was a Unix/Linux admin at Sun Microsystems, if anybody remembers that company.
Yeah.
And I remember going with them to, take your daughter to work days, and I'm like, this is boring. Yeah. I'm not going to go into IT. Oh, horrible. Like, I'm going to learn a real skill. And so I studied medical microbiology and immunology at University of Wisconsin, Madison. Go Badgers.
Go Badgers, indeed.
And I was like, okay, I've got my STEM degree. Like, I have a trade. I can culture microbes. Like, I know all these things. Well, it turns out I also I paid for all of my tuition by myself. I had full student loans, like 6 figures worth, out-of-state tuition. It was wild. And if you want to be a lab tech, it's a bachelor's degree is like not enough. You have to go to more school to stand on your feet all day and make like $18 an hour as a lab tech somewhere. So I was recruited to Epic, an EMR, electronic medical records company in Verona, Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. Incredible company. All of us probably have our health information in there. The most beautiful campus and some of the brightest, most type A people that you will ever meet in your life are working there. So I got a job, and in fact, it was graduation weekend, and we're doing all the fun senior year bar crawl activities, sure. like super fun. And I'm like, I don't have a job lined up. Like, well, it was a couple years after the recession. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'll just go live with my parents. Like, that's what everybody does. And I'll just figure it out.
Right.
But I got a call. It was I think graduation was on a Sunday and it was Saturday morning. I got the call with the job offer. And
wow.
yeah, that I was like, oh, it was such a sigh of relief because I had no idea what I was going to do. And it was the day before graduation.
Wow. Sweating it.
Yeah. I studied microbiology.
Sure.
Epic is a software company at its heart, and I worked on their lab software, Beaker, doing implementations there, and my microbiology knowledge actually helped a lot. I learned so much. It was probably one of the toughest jobs I've ever had, and it was the best possible first job I could have had straight out of college.
Oh.
But that's how I pivoted from, I'm not going to do IT, microbiology, to now I have a career in IT.
Yeah, lots of meandering. That's been a theme from some of our guests as well. Lots of meandering careers.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Angie, we call the podcast Success Your Own Way. What's your definition of success now, and how has it changed over the years?
It's, so I have been a very career-minded person. Like, I mentioned Epic, a lot of type A people there, myself included, and I moved to Minnesota. I got a job working as an IT project manager at Target, contractor pretty briefly, and then spent 10 years at United Health Group after that, which is where I really cut my teeth. And I worked so hard. I was like, career is everything. This is what it's all about. I'm in my 20s, like, you're grinding, you're out there, you're like, yeah, I'm going to be a career woman. I'm going to be a, what do they say, corporate baddie? Like, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Well, and then I met my husband, and we got married, and it was November of 2019 that we got married. Mm-hmm. And I also became a stepmother to 2 wonderful children. Ryan is 13, and Laura is 10, and they are amazing. But I became a stepmother right before COVID. And Laura couldn't read yet. She was in kindergarten. Ryan was in, I can't remember, 4th grade, maybe? 3rd or 4th grade, something like that. And definition of success changed pretty quickly. I based somewhere along the way, you learn that your value as a human is not defined by your career or your success at work. Yeah. There are so many things that are going to happen outside of your control. There's reductions, like I've been laid off and let go before. And what I came to find was, my family is counting on me. Mm-hmm. And yes, I can still have my career and do all of that, but that doesn't have to define me entirely. Sure. And it's okay for me to, like, my value to be as a friend, as a wife, as a stepmother, as just a human being in the community. Like, living my life, and it's not all about your career. So I think that my definition of success has become much more well-rounded in the past 6-7 years, however long it's been. And you know what's so interesting, too, is the second you let go of that and you, like, chill out a little bit about your career and climbing the corporate ladder, like, things start to click together. It was... I got feedback once, like really conflicting feedback.
That's helpful.
Yeah, it was very early in my career, and I got feedback that I was too uptight in front of a customer, and they were like, Angie, like when you're with your customers, you're really uptight, and you're just like, oh, like so, this is the way it has to be, and robotic, and then in internal meetings with my coworkers, I was super fun and just my authentic self. And then a few weeks later, I got feedback. I was emceeing an event, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
More on that later.
Okay.
I was emceeing an event, and I got feedback after that I was too unprofessional. It was an event, a customer-facing event.
Sure.
And so I'm like, okay, what do I make of this? Like, this is very conflicting feedback. How do you want me to be? And I was frustrated by it, but just kind of let it go. And I was like, okay, I can, like, lighten up a little bit. And ultimately, I think 2 things I learned from that. Number 1, you're not going to make everybody happy, and not everybody's going to like you.
100%.
And that's just what it is, which is hard when you're a people-pleasing person.
Yes.
That's interesting, right? And then the second thing is you're going to get better results and just be more comfortable and more sustainable in your career if you're bringing your authentic self to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting to put on a mask, to like be really uptight and be like, oh, I have to be super professional and super on all the time. No, you don't. You are working with other humans. It's okay. It's so
and
good.
so much. I mean, it doesn't take so much energy, you know. Like, and you mentioned it too. The energy that it sucks from you to not be able to be yourself at work, at home. I mean, that has an impact on you. And I'm curious, as you've found your authentic voice and become more of your authentic self, what sort of impact has that had on the organizations that you're part of, or your family, or yourself? Like, what kind of changes have you noticed?
Oh, that's such a good question. I've realized how much I swear. I'm being very conscious about it right now and trying not to. We're gonna keep it.
Yeah,
keep it PG.
Safe for work.
So I didn't mark the contains explicit content when I registered this podcast. So we need to keep it PG.
Okay, I will keep it PG. I'll do my best, and then as soon as the mics go off,
then
I'm
we
just
can
gonna be cussing like a
real
sailor. Okay, so the impact of things well, one, it's more fun. Like you know, whether you're a biological mom or a stepmom or a bonus mom or any sort of a mom or parental figure, sometimes you have to be the bad cop and the bad guy. I mean, like, brush your teeth, put on deodorant. Why didn't you make sure you do your homework, blah, blah, blah. And it sucks. I don't like being that way.
Yeah.
And same thing at work too, right? Like, I don't like having to be a witch all the time.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. But sometimes you kind of have to be, and it sucks and it's hard. And what's really hard is when you have to be that way at work and then at home.
Yeah.
And like, you need a break. You got to take care of yourself, and you have to figure out, what can I just let go of? Pick your battles a little bit. But, you know, it reminds me a little bit of a story, the sort of authenticity. And I think there's a life skill that you bring your authentic self by all means to everything that you do. At the same time, read the room.
Yes.
Read the room. There is a time to, like, bring out different aspects of your personality and a time to hold back a little bit. So, so shifting from United Health Group to Taylor, very, very different. Both Minnesota companies, a lot of Minnesota people, which is great. Minnesota's kind of its own niche culture, but United is massive, and it is very corporate, and it is very detail oriented, and sure, it has its share of dysfunctions, just like any large company does, but like, you go hard on things that, like I was doing IT operations, right? So this is like your change ticket, your incident problem management. I'm writing up reports. I'm looking at our monitoring, observability. I'm on people about, like, what are you going to do to prevent this from occurring next time?
Right.
Did you do your performance testing? Okay, what transactions per second or TPS did you test to? And how, like, that level of detail, very, very obnoxious. Okay, so shifting to a small, not a 300, 400,000 employee company down to a 10,000 employee company that is in a totally different industry, those things don't matter as much. It's a little more about making money and saving money, and what are you going to do in technology to support that? Now, of course, at large companies, like, when you're working in technology at a non-tech company, like, you have to keep that in mind too, right? Like, how am I going to, I'm not going to, like, develop some groundbreaking AI, machine learning, blockchain thing. Like, we're not a tech company, but how are you going to apply tech to make your business successful? That's what you're there for. And it's the same thing at any non-tech company, in a tech role at a non-tech company, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So suddenly, IT operations, incident management, uptime to 5 nines, and, like, very minute details of performance testing, those things, they're still important, but they're maybe not the first battle that I'm going to pick.
Sure.
And this was a really big, windy tangent from the impact of authentic self. But the point is, like, you've got to adjust your approach a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I found, coming from IT operations, I'm telling people what to do. I'm influencing without authority because I had to be. And I had to let go of a little bit of control and be more collaborative and learn. And it's very humbling to switch industries. I know all about healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, as much as any one human being can know anyway.
Right.
No one human can know
Super
it all.
complex, isn't it?
To print, and I'm like, what's digital versus offset? Like, I don't know. You guys are going to have to teach me. And maintaining that sort of curiosity and that humility, I think, really lends itself to a more collaborative approach. So I'm learning about print, but also I'm educating my colleagues about technology and in a way that they maybe hadn't learned before.
Yeah.
The change that you made, even with kind of between industries, is scary. At least it would scare me. I would probably fall into more of like an imposter syndrome of how do I go from one place to another. Did you struggle at all with kind of like the decision and how do I switch industries? What does that mean for my career?
Yeah. Yes and no. So it's scary. It's always scary to take a leap, to say I'm going to go do something different. And one, you have to be honest with yourself about what you know and what you don't know, and be honest with your employer and your colleagues and say, I don't know anything about this industry and I want to learn. Please teach me. I'm going to our production facilities. I'm seeing the machines, and
good for you.
they have cool names, but I call them Big Cricket and Big Laser Cricket. Like, if you know the little cricket machines, that's how they make stuff. It's just giant versions of that. But like this week I got to see how we print ink on fabric. And like there's a whole engineering, like incredible thing, materials engineering and incredible stuff behind this. Like the ink turns into a gas, the gas fuses into the polyester. It's wild. It is wild. And I have like you see things, you see a book, or you go to a conference and you see, some signage, some fabric, and you're like, oh, that's where the restrooms are. Okay, you don't think twice about how was this sign made? Yeah. And like maybe there's a how it's made episode on this. I'll research.
There has to.
I'll take that action item we'll send out, and I'll share it with you too.
Okay.
But so you have to be honest about like, hey, I'm coming in. I know this, but I know tech, but I don't know your industry. So like, please teach me. Ask for help.
That's huge, isn't it?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
The other thing I will say is, here's why it's not super scary to make that change for me. So I didn't talk too much yet about how I wound up at United Health Group, and where I'm going with this, the lesson is choose the road less traveled. If you ever have an opportunity, if you're ever blessed to have two paths you could take in life, pick the path that looks less familiar to you, because that's how you're going to grow. You're going to get experiences you've never had before. Yeah. It's not going to be boring. It's going to be challenging. Yeah, it's scary because you don't know that path, but that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to find out. You're going to take that path and you're going to find new experiences. So that's why this pivot wasn't so scary for me, and it gave me a lot of confidence, because flashback to 2015, I was let go as a contractor from Target right before they did a big round of reductions. Which, okay, another great thing about being a contractor, like if a company needs to downsize, they're going to get rid of the contractors first, and then you end up in the workforce first, and you have like a little bit of a head start to the FTEs.
Your opportunity to find something new.
Yeah.
Yes, got
right.
it.
Yeah.
You can see what's coming.
Yeah. Right, yeah, like it's, I'm just silver lining, lots of optimism. Anyway, so I was let go as a contractor from Target, and the consulting firm that I was working with, it's Holstat Consulting, and they're women-owned. They're based in Mendota Heights. Fantastic people there. Love working with them. And in my career, I've been able to hire a lot of people through that company too, and I've had great experiences with them all around. So this quick plug. Quick plug. This podcast is brought to you by. So they were like, oh, it's okay, Angie. Like, we're going to take care of you. We're going to put you up for a couple of roles. So I interviewed for a role at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it was in their security PMO, and very similar to the work that I had been doing for Target. And I was like, okay, yep, I have confidence. I could do this. I know what would go into that. And then the other one was a release manager at Optum, and I'm like, this is different.
Yeah.
And I was so blessed to have offers for both roles, which, speaking of being your authentic self, like, do that in interviews, they're trying to figure out, like, do I like this person? Can I work with this person?
Yeah.
So if you are your authentic self in your interview, like, that's the ticket. Anyway, I was blessed to have both. I was like, okay, security PMO, same pay, like roughly same commute, like both in the insurance industry, both in like healthcare, right? I'm like, okay, well, I've done this one before. I haven't done this one before. I'm going to try this one at Optum. And that's what kicks, and so I did it. I accepted, and they converted me to a full-time employee after a few months. And I spent 9 years there, almost 10 years there, and met my husband there, like made so many friends. I learned everything that I know about like hardcore IT stuff at United. Like I studied microbiology, so I'm not. We talked about being humble, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And like so much of what I learned was on the job stuff, right? Like you research, right? You go find the YouTube videos, you read articles online, and information is everywhere. Like we're very blessed to have that. At some point I taught myself pivot tables back when I was at Target. That was a big deal. Life skill, everyone should know how to do pivot tables.
Definitely.
Agreed. Big pivot
They
table.
don't big
anything spreadsheets, pivot tables is yes.
Well, they don't teach that in college. I don't remember ever learning pivot tables. Maybe very rudimentary. I don't know. Maybe I was just partying too much, but I don't remember learning. I don't remember learning pivot tables in college, and it is very much a life skill. But so much of my learning came from on the job stuff, from bringing my authentic self, bringing that humility, and saying, David, Carl, like, tell me about this Jenkins thing, this CI/CD deployment pipeline.
Yeah.
What is this? And I would ask questions, and I would catch on and learn pretty quickly. And they were like, oh, she gets it, and she's curious. Well, we're gonna tell you. Like, nobody asked them, you have to teach Angie how to do all these things. They just kind of took me under their wing, and I owe a lot of my, like, limited infrastructure knowledge. Like, it got to the point where I was editing config files on web servers during releases, and they trusted me with that because they taught me. They took me under their wing.
Yeah.
And maybe part of it is because I didn't have that programming background. I absorbed that information and could explain it in a way that other people could understand too, and didn't have that background. So I owe a lot to my colleagues who have taught me things along the way.
Love it. That's great. I'm conscious of our time today, so I'm wondering, is there any tips or advice that you would give to folks in their early or mid or even later career when it comes to decision making, prioritizing, anything like that? Any tips that you'd share with our audience and our listeners?
Yes, it's a bit of a summary of some of the things that I covered before. So, number 1, bring your authentic self, but read the room.
Okay.
Choose the road less traveled.
Okay.
Whenever you have the opportunity, choose the road less traveled. That is how you grow. And figure out what's important to you and take calculated risks. Like, if you like follow your dreams and do all those things, okay, but like make sure you have a little bit of financial stability too, right? Like don't compromise every other aspect of your life to follow your career dreams and your success, because remember that success is not just defined by your career.
Absolutely.
Your value as a human is not just defined by your career. It's not defined by any one aspect of your life.
Yeah.
So those are
great
those
tips.
are my tips.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Oh, and keep learning, I guess I
Yeah.
would say too. Stay curious, like read books,
Right on.
listen to podcasts.
Right?
Yes.
Listen
Especially
to
this
yeah.
Listen to podcasts.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially Success
We
Your Own
release
Way.
episodes every other Wednesday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Plug.
Yeah.
My biggest piece of advice would be to listen to the Success Your Own Way podcast. Yes.
I love
that's-
that.
I love that. Not paid marketing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yes, I think we're gonna close, even though
Okay.
I think after we stop rolling, we're still gonna talk a little bit.
Sure. That's when all the
Maybe,
cuss words come
get
out.
some outtakes or something.
The real gems.
Yes. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Tina. Thanks, Angie. we are excited to have you here. Again, hopefully you'll find it as inspirational as we did. Download the episodes, subscribe on YouTube. We are available wherever you get your podcasts, and if you want to watch us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yifat and Tina, for having me. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you,
Thank
Angie.
you.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Success Your Own Way. We hope you found this episode inspiring and took away actionable insights. Please tune in for our next episode. And if you know someone who is rethinking what success looks like in their life, please share this episode with them.